After nearly 2 decades of paranormal research, we are constantly faced with a supernatural theme, a reoccurring ghostly chorus that cannot be ignored, and it's that the heart of many hauntings are deeply rooted in familial connections. It's our pursuit of this persistent trend that compels us to delve into the phenomena of those visited by their departed loved ones.
I was in my room, it was late at night, it was dark, and I had heard horses, and I walked outside, and I seen a really bright light off to my left. I heard her laugh. I got this instant relief and just peace. And she looked down at me, and I just instantly started crying. He's literally sitting on my legs to where I couldn't move.
I did a little bit of research into your family. I have something I'd like to show you.
In this episode of Family Spirits, Carrie reveals how she struggled with the loss of her childhood best friend in a fatal car wreck. Forlorn and reluctant to speak about her pain to anyone else, she found peace during a solitary horse ride, where a paranormal occurrence changed her outlook on the possibility of life after death.
I am Carrie Kushel, and I am here today because I had lost my best friend when I was 15 and she had just turned 16. Ronnie and I were very into horses. That's all we ever did. So you didn't see us much at home. We were riding all over the countryside with them. Ronnie was quite a firecracker. She had a very sarcastic, funny personality, very loud and boisterous. I kind of am as well. So we hit it off pretty well. But we spent every waking hour when we were together riding our horses.
My name is Mary. I'm Carrie's mom. She was a great friend. She was with Carrie all the time. They were in and out of our house all the time, and she was just a wonderful person, a great friend for Carrie. They were very similar personalities and always had lots of fun together. As Carrie said, those two were so close and always riding their horses. I didn't know how I was going to tell Carrie. It was terrible. I didn't realize for years how much it had bothered her.
She was actually coming home from a Kentucky Fried Chicken interview, and they were coming through a country intersection, and all the corn was up in the cornfield, and at that intersection, neither car stopped, and they collided, and all 4 people, 2 people in each car, died instantly in that accident.
I felt bad that I hadn't realized how devastated Carrie had been because she kept it to herself for so many years. I was glad that she could talk about it, and it just freed her to be able to talk about it to all of us.
I think at 15, you just don't, like, it doesn't sink in. It doesn't seem real, and it takes quite a while to process. I didn't actually process it until I walked into her visitation, and I had seen her picture on top of her casket, and that's when it sank in. And I turned away from the funeral home at that time, and I never went back in. I couldn't comprehend that. I actually really struggled with her death for about a year, and I really kept it to myself, and I had rode my horse quite a bit to her gravesite, because I didn't know how to deal with it. And I said, talked to her, and I told her, I said, and this was almost a year after, and I said, Ronnie, I can't deal with this anymore. And I literally thought I was going to go out of my mind. I really don't know how far after that she gave me the sign.
You know, Carrie's case is very tragic. I mean, this one, just heart-shattering stuff right here. To hear about this childhood friend, someone that was dearly close to her, dying in a tragic car accident, and kind of the aftermath associated with it.
Again, it's another instance where somebody had a super close connection with their friend. They had this unique bond, this specific activity that they did together. And what struck me a lot about Carrie's story is she didn't really talk about it with anybody. She didn't express how she was feeling. She didn't really go into how she grieved. I don't even think she grieved, openly. She did it by herself.
She definitely was shut down.
at the time that her friend died. And it was a struggle for her to actually even accept that her friend was dead.
My name is Danielle. I am Carrie's daughter. The very first time I heard the story from my mom about her experience with Ronnie I think we were both emotional because every time she tells that story, she gets emotional because it was a big thing. That was the first time that she's ever had anybody close to her pass away like that, or really even pass away. So when she did share that story to me, I was just so emotional with her. And so kind of intrigued and interested that she had that experience, just because it's not a common thing to necessarily hear somebody having an experience like that, even though they've experienced death. And so when she did tell me that, it was just so cool, and I was so proud of her for telling me that as well.
I was in my room, it was late at night, it was dark, and I had heard horses, and I walked outside, and I seen a really bright light off to my left. I knew it was her immediately, and it was probably somewhere between 10 and midnight, and I walked out to the end of my driveway, and I heard her horse, and I heard her laugh, and like I got this instant relief and just peace that came over, and she rode up to me, and she had this shitty little grin. Can I say that? And she looked down at me, and I just instantly started crying. She looked down, and she's like, "I'm okay. You need to be okay. I'm okay." And she was on her horse, and all the horses were completely at peace. There was no excitement from the horses, and just the warmth that I got from her, and she gave me that silly little smile, and she left after that. And that was my first experience with her, and that truly gave me peace, seeing her happy and on her horse and knowing she was okay. That was what I needed to know, that she was okay. And after that day, I had complete peace.
There's one common trend here, that not only having this experience with her, friend, seeing her after her tragic car accident, but a good friend of hers' husband died in a car accident as well. And he showed up to give a message, which was, it's something we can't ignore, right? Is that correlation.
Well, what's interesting about that, what's funny about that instance is that Carrie initially she didn't tell her friend about it.
Another friend of mine who had lost her husband suddenly in a car accident as well. And it was probably several months after he had passed, and I was sleeping, and I woke up, and he's literally sitting on my legs to where I couldn't move. And I yelled at him. His name was Joe. And I said, "Joe, what the hell are you doing? Why are you on my legs?" And he said, "You need to tell Jen a message for me." And I said, okay, what is it? And I was kind of fighting with him and combative about it. And he didn't believe that I was going to tell her. So he told me, he said, "No, you have to promise me that you're going to give her a message." And he said, "You need to tell her that I am okay, and you need to tell her to move on. She's got 3 little kids to raise, and she can do it, but she's got to move on and move on past my death." Well, I didn't do it for probably several months and kind of forgot about it because I didn't know how other people feel about the paranormal and experiences, and I didn't want to, overstep my bounds with Jen and tell her about my experience. And so Joe came back, and he did the same thing, and he sat on my ankles again, and he was pretty ticked off at me and told me I promised him that I was going to do it, and I never did it. And I explained to him that I wasn't sure how Jen felt about these things, and he convinced me to tell her. And a month or so later, I had met Jen at a local pub and told her about that. And she instantly started crying. And I'm like, "Oh my God, what did I do? What did I do?" But she actually had just told me that another friend of hers, who I did not know, had told her the exact same thing, that Joe went to her other friend and asked her to give Jen the same exact message. Joe's been gone now, I think, for about 21 years, and she still tells me to this day that that was the piece that she needed to hear.
When you speak to her I mean, it is like the windows to the soul looking in. She's got some deep currents inside. And I'm not saying this in a negative way by any means. She has deep emotions running through her. I think a lot of it's joy. I think a lot of it's love. She is a very positive person.
You have the two tragic auto accidents that took the lives of two people decades apart. But you also have when she was out there with friends and the car her truck turns on by itself. I mean, just, I don't know what that connection is. It's definitely intriguing. There's something to it.
Another instance that I had was with my daughter and another woman at a barn. We had boarded our horses down in Texas and had been at the barn for probably over an hour, and we had put our horses away and we were just standing in the aisle talking about, you know, the day and the horses and stuff like that. And I had actually pulled my truck up to the barn, but it was probably a good 40 or 50 feet away from where we were standing. And again, it had been sitting there for an hour. We were talking, and then I heard the ignition turn over, and I'm like, what's that? And my headlights came on and the radio came on.
And we were actually talking about her friend that had just passed away from breast cancer. And while we were talking, the truck, you heard the ignition turn on, and what caught us was that little click, and then the headlights came on. And so we all just kind of stared at each other and were kind of surprised. So we sat there for a moment, and then when my mom went back into the truck, she did see that the actual ignition, the key had turned, and the radio was on and everything. And we all just kind of smiled, and the lady that was there, she felt in her heart that that was probably her best friend that had just passed away, maybe saying hi or connecting in some way.
And we all just turned and looked at the truck and couldn't believe that that had happened. So I walked to the truck, and literally the ignition had turned. I physically had to turn it back after that had happened. The house that I have now, when we had just moved in, and I didn't actually notice this right away, my youngest daughter had come by, and we were going through the basement, and she noticed this. On the old basement door, our house was built in '55, and it was probably an original door. There was actually Ronnie written across the door in very large letters and like a chalk, and it was R-O-N-N-I-E, and that was how she spelled her name. And my daughter come up and she's like, Mom, why didn't you tell me about that? I'm like, what do you mean? I didn't even notice it. How can I not notice that? I walk through the door all the time. That was just the best gift that Ronnie could have given to me after we had moved in, and I thought that was just the coolest thing that she was still with me.
Hi, Carrie.
Hi, Craig.
Have to do the gentleman thing and stand to shake your hand.
Nice to meet you, Craig.
Nice to meet you, too. Thanks for coming here and sharing your stories.
You bet.
Now, you don't have any experience with family spirits, but you have a very close friend in Ronnie, and the paranormal experiences that you have had have one thing in common, very close friendship. And friendship, as many people will tell you, is often stronger than family ties. So let's talk a little bit about your friendship with Ronnie.
Okay.
I did do just a little preliminary research.
Okay.
I did pull out the newspaper notices.
Okay.
Didn't give a lot of information.
No.
So she was born in November 1970 in Bridgeport, Connecticut, and she died close to Christmas, 1986.
5 days before.
In Janesville, Wisconsin, or just right outside of Janesville, Wisconsin. How close were you to her family, her parents?
I think teenagers. We were, 15 and 16-year-olds, and we didn't come near our families for the most part. We were kind of just independent, but I stayed at her house all the time. She stayed at my house all the time. We were just gone a lot, so I felt like her mom was probably just like my mom to me. I felt close to her mom as well, but we just kind of were always out on our own adventure, so we didn't see our parents a whole lot at that time.
Did she have any brothers or sisters?
She had one brother.
Now, when we talked about this, I asked you, and I'll ask you again, You guys didn't discuss the paranormal.
No, we did
growing up.
not. No, not at all. No, we only talked horses. Not even boys, just horses. It was that live and breathe horses. We never talked paranormal.
And for how many years did that go on?
For 3.
For 3 years? So you just ate, drank, slept.
That's all we
and
did.
talked horses.
So we would a lot of times take our horses and meet up halfway, and then we'd just go wherever we felt like that day. In and out of the rivers, down the trails and stuff. But usually we met each other halfway because we didn't have a horse trailer. We couldn't haul our horses back and forth, so we had to ride if we wanted to go somewhere.
So you had mentioned that she had kind of a mischievous smile.
She sure did.
So did you two get involved in some mischief together in those 3 years?
No, we were just kind of known as our feisty personalities. Not too shy, kind of loud, not afraid to speak our minds. So we never got into trouble, but we were known as kind of a powerhouse duo for sure in our personalities.
Let's go back to this December 20th date. Was her funeral before or after Christmas?
It was right after Christmas.
And when had been the last time you had seen her prior to the accident?
Probably 3 or 4 days before. But she was just starting a new job at Kentucky Fried Chicken, so she had gotten busy the last few days, so I hadn't talked to her. Probably it was within a week that I spoke to her last. My uncle happened to be a firefighter, and he was on scene, and he had seen the car, and he said there was quite a few presents in the back that her and her boyfriend had gone shopping and had for her family members that were in the field and inside of her car still. So like that was just something that really stuck with me as a teenager. Like, you know, it's hard enough to deal with death as an adult, but had never lost a loved one ever in my life. And so my best friend was my first loss to me.
You said it didn't really sink in until like right after Christmas.
Walking into her visitation.
And seeing her picture over her casket.
She had a closed casket due to her injuries, and they had a very large picture, and she kind of had that smart-ass grin on her face. And like, that's when it hit me, and I left.
Yeah.
Never went back in.
I don't think you've ever gotten over it.
No, it's hard to still think about that. Yeah. But she's given me peace with it, but still as a kid, you just react differently. You know, I've lost family members since then, and they've been older and nothing close like that. So I think, and especially talking about it more due to this, it really stirred up more emotions, just really, reflecting back on that time in my life. That was just a really dark place for me. And luckily, the horses brought me through and kept me as sane as I possibly could be until Ronnie came to me and gave me complete peace over it.
Your love for your friend came through.
Yep. Sure did.
Showing that it's tighter than family.
Yeah, then tighter than family, for sure. She was my sister.
So it's about the love and the emotion that goes behind.
Absolutely. And my openness to believe in that. And I truly believe that there is life after death.
So Ronnie came back to say goodbye to you.
With her little smart-ass grin, she sure did.
and it gave you a chance to say goodbye to her.
It did. And I had complete peace after that. Just this incredible wash of comfort.
Do you think you'll ever run into her again?
Absolutely.
In the afterlife?
Without a doubt. Oh, without a doubt.
I did find a couple of articles on the accident. This one is from the Post-Crescent, December 22nd, so it was a couple of days after. In fact, both are from the same date.
Okay.
The other is from the Capital Times. Little differences in information, but not much.
Okay.
3 people were killed and 1 was critically injured in a 2-car collision at an intersection about 1.5 miles west of Janesville during the weekend. It did give the name of your friend, Ronnie. And apparently she was fatally injured in the crash Saturday morning. Do you know if she was killed at the scene?
Instantly.
Instantly. Chilling statistic. It said this and other accidents raised Wisconsin's 1986 traffic death toll to 735 today, compared with 734 on this date a year ago.
Wow.
So that's quite a few people die in motor accidents. And That number always seems to spike around Christmas time. So I do hope you run into Ronnie.
I will, without a doubt.
And I hope that you guys get to go riding again.
We will.
When you're ready. When you're ready.
We're gonna hop right back on that horse, as they always say. So she rides with me now, probably when I ride. So she's always with me. So I can always keep her in my heart with my horses that I still to this day have. So
what would you say to her?
I missed you. I missed you.
Thank you for sharing this.
Giving me that peace after my struggle with the loss of her.
It is often said that traumatic experiences can spark an awakening of otherworldly gifts. It's evident that Carrie's bond with her best friend is a timeless one. Her love for Ronnie appears to be just as strong now as it was prior to her tragic passing. And it seems that their last ride may have changed Carrie's life forever, setting off a chain reaction of paranormal occurrences that defy explanation.
I truly, with all of my heart, believe you can still reconnect with people who have passed that have been close with you, without a doubt, in my mind.